Okay. So I guess we can move down. I will vote on it. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Okay.
Have a
So I guess we can move down.
and now
I will
everything
vote
is
on it.
really
All
on my
those in
screen
favor
as
of
far as
approving
the
the agenda, say
agenda.
aye.
Next thing was public comments. Hearing none. Let's
Laura
move
said she's
down.
coming, by the way.
My
She's running a little
agenda is
late.
no longer in.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay, did we lose Alex?
Yes, looks like we did lose him.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Let me just get this agenda back up. There we go.
well, right now is public comment. Any public comment? No public here?
We have a few guests.
Then we can go on. Okay. Hello, Nicole.
Hi, I'm here, but I have no public comment.
Is there anybody who's got public comment before we move on? Okay. I can't remember if I'm still the vice chair. I think somebody else is the vice chair, but principal's report comes next, no matter who's the vice chair.
That's true. I think we decided that Laura was voted in last year. As
Okay.
vice chair. But I think
Well,
that's only because you missed that
There you
meeting.
go. So is there a principal's report, Amy?
I do have some information I would like to share out. But the principal, it's not in the form of a PowerPoint. I just wanted to give you some information and some context for this evening's meeting. So the purpose of the meeting tonight is to let you know that we're being awarded the third round of ESSER funding, and that is essentially the third round of our CARES Act funding from COVID relief. The amount that we were awarded was pretty substantial, almost or more than double the ESSER 2. So we are looking at $442,682. Yeah.
That's a lot. All right.
And there are a lot more stipulations with this than there have been in the past. But after reviewing those stipulations, there's nothing that that wouldn't have come to mind to spend this money on. 20% of it needs to be used for academic remediation and helping those students out that didn't have great access for whatever reason during COVID. So that's 20%. And then I also wanted to let the board know that Anchorage School District has adopted some new goals and guardrails for the next, I think it's 5 years. Is that right, Nicole? For the next?
Yeah, through the 2026
Okay,
school
so,
year.
yeah, okay, 5 years. Yep. And one of those goals is to, for this year, increase the number of students who take Algebra 2, whether they're 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, up to 34%. And that's district-wide. So obviously we want to beat that goal. And we also have been looking at our math classes. They're all pretty big classes, and we do have a major bubble in what would be equivalent to pre-algebra and algebra 1. A lot of students either get stuck there or they started at a lower level as an older student, And so they're working through those levels, and we are seeing the need for additional math instruction. So before I give you my proposal and my ask, I wanted just to remind you that we received ESER 2 funding in the amount of $197,535. And we were able to use that funding to secure maybe a more important need, if one's more important than another, math or social emotional learning and mental health for our students. So we were able to secure a counselor for a minimum of 2 years, knowing this is grant funding. And that counselor is here with us tonight. Ula is here. And so we're super excited about that. We've pretty much zeroed out our CARES Act, the original funding. We used this, if you remember, to bring our nurse up to 0.8, because if there was ever a year to cut our nurses FTE, it was not last year. So we brought her up to 0.8. She is now looking at pursuing either a 0.2 or a 0.4 FTE through Stream Academy. So we might bring her back based on what her wishes are. So that's just general information for you. As of this afternoon, our enrollment is at 170, which is 22 lower than we projected. And that is disconcerting, but it's also a numbers game. And right now we don't, that number could drop below 170. It could skyrocket above our projection. There's so many things can happen between now and that count period. But I wanted to give you as much information as I have at this point, so that we can make a good decision about the following proposal. What I would like to do, what we would like to do, is bring on an additional 1.0 FTE math teacher. Mrs. Cunningham is going to go to 0.5, from 0.6 to 0.5 for this school year. So we would essentially have 3.5 math instructors, knowing that all of our teachers are also advisors and also teach an elective credit. So it wouldn't be, it'd be a full-time math teacher, but they wouldn't only teach math. They would also be supporting us in other ways. Hi, Laura. Thank you for joining us. So that is my report. It was short and sweet. I'd be happy to repeat any of those numbers or answer any questions.
Amy, do you see this new instructor as also taking an advisory class too, and just basically being just a new Highland staff member?
Yes. The smaller
Okay,
our
cool.
advisories are, the better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so is this, the new funds that we got, that will easily cover all the staff changes that you're looking at, right?
Yes. Yeah, because Megan is reducing her FTE. Nurse Laura might be reducing her FTE. She might not. And so all that would be doing is adding a 1.0 math teacher. And again, I would do what I proposed for the counselor is to secure that for at least 2 years, which would be about half of that funding.
And that still leaves plenty of money to make up for if the enrollment doesn't pick up, that'll still cover that shortfall in the
Yes.
enrollment. Okay.
Yeah, good question, Jim.
Excellent.
Can that
Follow
maybe
up to
go
Jim's
over-
question. Is that ESER 3 allowed to be used to make a enrollment shortcoming payback?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I'm not really sure what the district is using all of theirs for, but we get our own cut of that because we're a charter school. Only charters get that. But I know that's a big part of it, which is why there were no pink slips this year, even though enrollment ASD wide was so low. That was a big portion of their spending for that.
I think this is going to be a year of major restructuring and reorganization, and these funds are providing the lubricant to make that possible. So I'm all in favor of what you guys at the school think is the best way to follow up with that. So as long, I was just curious about the advisory function, but I think it's a good idea. So especially with the focus on bringing up math, algebra participation.
Okay. Well, feel free
Can
to
the funds
continue.
be carried over or portion of them? Or do they have a sunset?
Yes, they can be carried over. I'll be submitting my plan to the state once I've
Okay.
got your final approval on this. But yes, they can be carried over, I believe, for 3 years.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Kelly,
I couldn't find the raise a hand button. As a teacher rep, I also know that there's been concern among the staff about math and how we're going to be able to support all our students. And I know our current math teachers are feeling overwhelmed with the amount of work that needs to be done to help kids get caught up and remediate these things. So I know that it would be a relief for them.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. One of our math teachers doesn't have that many preps, but all of her classes are just full. And another teacher has a lot of preps, and some of those preps are for only 5 or 6 students because they're upper level. So it's more preps, fewer students, less preps, lots of students. So it's definitely, we're spread really thin. I would like to give you a little bit more information, but that would need to be shared in executive session because it's about personnel. So that's why executive session is on the agenda.
so Alex, you're back now, right?
Alex was back. Oh, he's here.
Yeah, I'm back on now.
Okay, well,
Hopefully
I
for a
think
while.
we just
Does
think we
someone have a motion to go into executive?
I move that we move into executive session.
I second it.
For the purpose of discussing personnel matters?
Yes.
Do we have do we have any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of going into executive session for the specific purpose of discussing personnel issues, say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Okay, the ayes have it. We are now in executive